Greetings YouTube and welcome to my next weapons build. Today we're going to be doing a couple of low skill maces, things that are approachable by anyone with minimal skill and minimal tools. You don't need anything advanced from this, like a power drill, a hacksaw, some wrenches, and maybe a pop rivet gun if you're going to fasten it the way I want to. And all of those are very easy to acquire. You can pick them up cheap at yard sales, or like the pop rivet gun, a good size one can be picked up at Harbor Freight for like 20 bucks. And that's the one I use, and it works just fine for me. And I use 1/4 inch rivets most of the time, and they have some decent holding power. So what we're going to be using is this piece of 3/4 inch electrical conduit tubing. It's nice and strong, not overly heavy, and ubiquitous both in the now times and in the after times of a post-apocalyptic event. This will be also ubiquitous because it's used everywhere in all kinds of buildings. So tubing like this is not going to be difficult to find. These two things here are actually heavy-duty 3/4 inch cable clamps. So if you had 3/4 inch heavy-duty cable, which is cable this thick, these are the kind of clamps you would use for fastening them into loops or to each other, things like that. Very strong. They're far stronger than I really need. I was originally going to use U-bolts, but it was extremely difficult to find 3/4 inch U-bolts of the size I need. I have found a few at Ace Hardware store, but I only found like 3 of them, and I really wanted to use like 12. And so I'm poking around, I found these, and I'm like, they're much heavier duty, but I'm like, well, they're still going to work. I'm not going to have as many strike points, but I'll still have some strike points, so I'm going to use these. And I'm going to make a second mace, and out of this, now I'm going to be using the 3/4 inch, that's going to go on, slide onto it. Then I'm going to use these things here to make, here we go, to make the striking end pointier. So that's going to have little ridges on it when I'm done. I got 7 of these. I think I can get 7 on there. Maybe I can only get 6. We're going to find that out. And I'm going to drill a single hole through this and a single hole through this and put a pop rivet. So this is no modification to the tubing other than cutting it. And this is going to require a hole through this and this, both of which can be done with a hand drill. You don't need to have any fancy V-blocks or anything. Since you're only drilling one hole, you don't have to worry about alignment. You just drill the hole straight through. So this is, again, very approachable, low skill kind of a process. I'm probably going to make them 18 inches. And this is a 5-foot piece, so that's going to give me 2 feet extra at the end. I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to make the first one with these at 18 inches. And then I'm going to see if I want to use that at 18, or maybe make it a little shorter, maybe make it 15. We'll find that out. Because like, sometimes you want a smaller, faster kind of a weapon. This is going to be definitely larger and heavier. Then I will wrap them with some kind of cord just to make them look good and make the grip comfortable. And then we'll call it a day. Now, I'm going to use an angle grinder to cut this because the angle grinder is literally sitting within eyesight of me. It already has a cutoff blade on it, and I'm only going to make 2 cuts. Zunk, zunk, and I'm done. So that's really easy to achieve, and I'm not going to have to, do anything fancy. But you can do it with a standard metal cutting blade on a hacksaw. Not difficult to do, particularly if it's sharp. And cut right through this stuff, without any difficulty. So if they're in a situation where there is no power, you can still make cuts. And I do own a couple of those in my collection because I have used them occasionally. Because you want to make at one time I was not as comfortable with my angle grinder, so sometimes I would make cuts with that because I was low and slow and I could be very careful. But now I am very comfortable using my angle grinder, and I can make some very delicate cuts with it and have them come out pretty much the way I want them to, which is kind of pleasant. So first thing I'm going to do is take this and cut an 18-inch piece off of it, and then we'll work on the first of the 2 maces. Getting these on actually took considerably more force than I thought it was going to. As you can see, this is slightly scuffed up because I actually had to use this hammer here, and this hammer is made out of copper, so it doesn't really mar steel all that much, but the steel on steel did. I had to actually tap these into place, so even though these are not tight yet, they are not going anywhere once I'm done. And I don't have a box end wrench large enough, at least not down here. I may have one upstairs, but I'm not going upstairs. That's why the guys made adjustable wrenches. So I am now going to tighten this up, and once I've got this tightened up, this is not going anywhere. You are definitely not going to have to worry about this coming off. And then all I have to do is wrap this end, and that's where the sticker was. That's the end I'll be wrapping with the cord, so you won't see it. And you are going to have yourself one heavy-ass mace / hammer with some nice contact points for penetration against armor. This is going to leave some really serious dents in armor if you hit it. So again, incredibly low skill. I tapped it into place. Now I'm going to crank it down, and this one is done except for the wrap, and the wrap will come after I am finished both of them. So just going to have to tighten those nuts. This is not a perfect fit. It is off a little bit, and I would like to center it, so I'm going to use some duct tape to fill that out, and so that I can get this on there. That does mean I have a choice. I can either drill this and then deburr the inside, or I tape it in place and I drill through both of them. The only disadvantage to that is it's going to be more difficult to drill through 2 pieces of steel than 1 piece of steel. I will think about what I want to do, because doing it at the same time does make my life a little bit easier in the sense that I won't have to worry about it alignment, because it'll be self-aligning. But I will be going through tape as well, so let me think about that. I don't know. So looking at this scale, yeah, I think a 15 inches is good on this one. I want a slightly smaller, faster, lighter mace. So I'm going to go 15 inches on this one, as opposed to the 18 I went on the one I just finished. And again, I'll have to do with that one is I have to wrap it. So yeah, I'll put some tape on here. Not going to take much. It's not a lot of play in there. Only probably a couple of windings, maybe 3 windings to get that to be snugged up. And you just take it once you're done. You just literally screw it onto the tape so that it's nice and stuck where you want it, and you're finished. So I will cut this off first. Now I am using a piece of scrap leather. I love the piece of scrap leather. It is so useful to me. I use it on almost every project because I can use it to hold wood or metal that I don't want to mar up, because these jaws have a lot of force, and this vise is designed to hold pipes. So there are 2 jaws in here which are curved, designed for pipes. This is I think this is technically called a plumber's vise because of that, because it has those. I picked it up at an estate sale for 25 bucks. 25 bucks for this vise is just awesome. I think that's 4 inches. I think, yeah, it's a 4-inch vise. For 25 bucks for a vintage 4-inch vise, unbelievably good price. I have no idea how old it is, but it's never caused me a problem. The only thing I had to do when I bought it is that the person who owned it before me, there was burrs on the inside of this, like when it was cast. So it wasn't something that the person had done to it. No. This was when the thing was cast. There were burrs here which prevented it from turning, and I turn it all the time. So I just deburred, took the burrs off, and bingo, now it turns perfectly fine. So apparently this person never turned it, because you wouldn't have been able to with those burrs in place. I guess if the person never needed to turn it, no harm, no foul. But I turn it all the time because I find it very handy to get different angles. But yeah, like I said, awesome deal. I love this thing. It's like one of my favorite tools. And I just got it bolted down to my bench. And this one is actually, this bolt here only goes through the top. And this is actually a piece of plywood sitting on top of the bunch top that's already here. So these bolts are longer, and they go through both. That one goes through both sides, and I think the one over here this one just goes through the top plywood as well. So that one's longer than these are right here. But I did that because the original top was just pressboard, and the person had used it for gun maintenance, so it was soaked in oil. So I just slapped this on top, and this is completely replaceable. Or I could flip it over and reuse it if I want to at some point in the future, if I find that I've beaten it to the point where it doesn't work anymore. So far, I've been using it for years now, and it's just fine. It is filthy, of course, because, well, I use a lot of chips and dust from my angle grinder. But yeah, works great, and it's a bigger surface, so that's always handy. Okay, so mark this at 15 inches, cut it off, and then I can start working on getting the tape so this same thing stays where I want it to stay. Alright, so I've got this in place. I wrapped a little bit of duct tape around there, and it's very snug. I had to use a hammer to tap this into place, so it's not going anywhere. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a very small pinprick right there, which is my nail set mark. So I'm going to drill a hole right on that spot through both of these pieces of steel, and I'm probably going to have to work the drill bit in there a little bit. So once it gets in there, I'm probably going to have to kind of make a cone action to get that to be the right size for a 1/4 inch rivet, because they're cast aluminum. They're not perfectly cylindrical, so sometimes you got to work with the variance that's in the rivet itself. And once I get that done, then I'll be able to then come in here and attach the little rings that I've purchased and see if I can get 6 or 7 on here. We shall see. I don't know. I've never worked with this before. But yeah, so drill one hole, and we're going to put a pop rivet in there, and then that's going to be what holds this thing together mechanically, and the tape is just there as a spacer so that this and this are roughly centered on each other. Okay, I admit that this is a little nuts, but I thought my 1/4 inch drill bit is already in my drill press. So let's see if I can drill a single hole through one side of 2 pieces of tubing without getting myself killed. So I have this clamp, which I happen to really like, holding this end down, and a C-clamp on the inside, because I got lucked out and it fit, clamping it on this end so that the rod cannot move in any direction. But it is at a slight angle, so the drill bit did walk slightly, but that may be to my advantage because I do have to fit one of these in that hole. So I'm now going to take it out and give it a shot, and if it doesn't fit, I'll take this drill bit out, put it into a hand drill, and then I'll open up the hole a little bit. I know that most people do not necessarily have a drill press of this size in their shop or available to them, but you can do this with a hand drill. I just thought, I have it here, it's already set up. Let's see if I can do this without getting myself killed, and hey, no injury involved. I was only able to get 5 on here because this one, even after I put oil on these threads, it would bottomed out here. If it had gone a little bit further and it just wouldn't, I would be able to get 6 on here, but 5 is going to be plenty points, and they're just going to add a little bit more bite to the end of this than was here before. But even without these, this is a nice, fast little mace. This thing has a nice little clip to it when you're swinging it, and now it's going to hit a little bit harder, and you're going to have a little more impact with these different points on here. I didn't intend to have these all kind of lined up at each other. It's just where they ended up. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So now I need to wrap both ends with something. Maybe I'll use different colors for this one. And then this project is complete. And it's a fast little afternoon kind of project. Again, low skill. The only tool I really needed to get these on after I got the rivet in, which is over here at the minute, was a pair of channel locks, and lots of people have channel locks. They're not hard to come by. I have picked up channel locks this big or bigger for $1 at a yard sale. So again, go out there, find yard sales, particularly ones where people are getting ready to retire or downsize, or they're moving. You can get incredible deals. I had an opportunity at a 1-yard sale where I could have picked up an entire box of vice grips for like $2. I mean, there was like 15 vice grips in this box. I just didn't need 15 vice grips, so I didn't buy it, but I could have if I'd wanted to. So there are some awesome deals out there if you keep your eyes open. Alrighty, so now I'm going to turn this thing so that I can put it at an angle, because I'll hold this in the vise, and I'll wrap the other end, because that makes my life a little easier. And here we have the 2 finished products. And I gotta tell you, of the 2, this is the one I'm really happy with. I thought this one was going to be, because I've been playing with this idea in my head on and off for a couple of months now, and I couldn't get the U-bolts I wanted, so I just thought I'd try these, and it does work. I mean, it's hella heavy, and this thing's gonna hit like a truck, but it's not gonna be fast. This thing is zippy. You get 2 of these, 1 in each hand, man, and that's a very fast combo. But this is also small enough that it very much can be stowed easily, and you're not going to see it until you need it. Seriously, you could actually carry this like this behind your hand, and then you just loosen your grip, and now you got a mace in your hand. Seriously, this thing it's easily concealed, it's light, it's fast. this thing is awesome. And it makes me wonder, would a bigger version of this be useful? Because they make 1-inch conduit tubing, which is also, again, thin but very strong. And they make fittings for larger pipes, and I like the contrast, and I know they make bigger ones of these. So if I go up, make a 2-handed version of this, and again, it's a low entry skill process. You very much just need to drill a single hole and cut the length off, and you can do that with a hacksaw and a power drill. And I didn't even have to I didn't have to open that up at all, because it was at a slight angle, the drill opened up. It's opened a hole up a knife, so I could just kind of give a little jiggle and got the rivet in there first try. So like, that was awesome, and it fits in there very nicely, and you can see in the hole. I think you can get that in there. You can see how it's mushroom on the inside. So combined with firmness between this and this on the duct tape, and this, it's not going anyplace. And this adds not only a nice contrast, I like the look of this aesthetically, but these are going to add a lot of impact energy right there when you're swinging this thing. Those points are going to bite, and they're going to hurt. This is much slower and larger, so if you have a big person, this is a one-handed weapon. For me, I'd have to really kind of choke up on it a little, because I just don't have the strength to swing this, I think, from here without some really horribly slow recovery time. Whereas this one, I could recover very quickly. So you're sacrificing strength for speed. And sometimes hitting multiple times with a medium amount of energy is going to be better than one with a lot if you miss, because you'll be able to get more swings with this, and hopefully land something somewhere that's going to incapacitate your opponent. And that's the goal, for you to go home and your opponent not to. So yeah, I just used this paracord right here was picked up at Walmart. It was on sale because they were discontinuing it. But it's nice, it's cheap, but it lies flat. It's not round. And this is just polypropylene rope that I got at like Home Depot or Lowe's. They're wicked cheap, $75. 75 feet is like $6, I think, or something like that. So it's inexpensive, but it does do a nice job. I'm not going to use paracord and all these things. It's too damn expensive. But this, I can get it in different colors. I got it purple. I got this in green. I think I got this at I think I got this for free from my father's place, because he was moving, and he moved rather, and he had this in his shed. So I got that for nothing, I think. But yeah, I am very, very happy with this project. It came out very nicely, and this one's going to go upstairs with me because I want to play with this one. This one can stay down here. I don't need to keep this one around. But now it's time to take this outside, get some pictures for my this video, as well as my DeviantArt page. And if you don't follow me on my DeviantArt page, you should, because that's the home of the permanent stills of my projects. So you can share them with your friends, which you should also do. And feel free to follow me on Instagram, because not only do I post pictures of things I make, but I post the bargains I find and the free stuff I find off of Craigslist. And of course, cute cat pictures. And who doesn't love a cute cat picture? Alrighty, thanks for being here. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope that you're here for the next build.